As 2024 wraps up, I wanted to take a moment to share 10 of my favourite books that I've read this year. These are books that have not only informed and inspired me, but also are ones that I think can provide real value to anyone looking to understand the world a little better, make smarter decisions, or simply reflect on life. While the majority of these are non-fiction, I've also included a bonus fiction entry at the end that left a big impression on me also. Before we dive into the list, let's start with some honourable mentions, books that didn't quite make the top 10, but are still absolutely worth a read. The first one is Mindset by Carol Dweck. This classic explores the difference between fixed and growth mindsets, offering actionable insights on how to unlock your potential. It's particularly valuable if you find yourself stuck or feel limited by your current abilities. While it didn't break too much new ground for me personally, it still reinforces some important ideas and overall is an excellent foundational read for anyone looking to improve their outlook and approach to challenges. The next one is Dopamine Nation by Anna Lembke, a fascinating look at addiction in the modern world and how the pursuit of pleasure can actually lead to pain. Lembke explores how our society, with its on-demand entertainment, instant gratification, and abundance of options, has left many of us overstimulated and underwhelmed. Through science, real-life stories, and practical advice, she shares how to regulate dopamine to achieve a healthier, more balanced life. If you've ever felt hooked on a habit or overstimulated by social media, then this is a must-read. The third and final of the honourable mentions is The War in the West by Douglas Murray, a bold and provocative book that explores the cultural narratives surrounding Western history and identity. Murray's arguments are thoughtful and his writing is sharp, even when addressing controversial topics. What I liked about this book is that it raises important questions about fairness, balance, and historical perspective. Whether or not you agree with all of his views, it's a book that challenges assumptions and encourages deeper thinking. And now moving on to the official top 10, and at number 10 is The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. Ryan Holiday draws on Stoic philosophy to show how obstacles can be transformed into opportunities for growth. This book is packed with historical examples from the ancient emperors to modern leaders who succeeded by reframing adversity. What I particularly enjoyed is the book's calm, practical approach. It doesn't sugarcoat the difficulties of life, but instead offers a clear, structured mindset to tackle challenges. I'd recommend it for anyone feeling overwhelmed or stuck in a tough spot. At number 9 is The Unfair Advantage by Ash Ali and Hassan Kuba. Ali and Kuba challenged the idea of a level playing field and argued that success comes from leveraging your unique strengths, your unfair advantages. They break down these advantages into categories like financial, educational, or even personal traits, showing how you can make the most of what you already have. What I liked about this book is its focus on self-awareness and strategy. It's not about luck, it's about recognizing where you can excel. I'd recommend it for anyone trying to start a business or carve their path in life. At number 8 is The End of Race Politics by Coleman Hughes. This is a thoughtful exploration of race and identity in the modern world. With so much emphasis on racial differences over the past decade or two, this book argues that instead, it's much better to focus on what we have in common. Highlighting race, while originally well-intentioned, especially in the mid-1900s, now serves as a means to categorize us and therefore divide us. Hughes's writing is measured and clear as he advocates for moving beyond polarizing narratives towards a future of shared humanity. What stood out to me was his ability to approach sensitive topics with nuance and optimism, offering practical ideas for overcoming division. I think this is a book that everyone should read to broaden their perspective and engage with these ideas and discussions more productively. At number 7 is The Lessons of History by Will and Ariel Durant. Will and Ariel Durant condensed decades of historical study into bite-sized lessons about humanity. They cover topics like politics, war, economics, and morality, showing that history often repeats itself. The writing is sharp and insightful, and I found myself highlighting passages that felt surprisingly relevant to today's world. It's a short but powerful book that's perfect for anyone who wants to understand the larger patterns that shape society. History not only gives us perspective, but it's also our best predictor and preparation for the future. At number 6 is The Righteous Mind by Jonathan Haidt. The author, who is a social psychologist, dives into why people hold different moral beliefs, using psychology, anthropology, and philosophy to explain how our moral intuitions are formed. I found the book very insightful because it helped me understand not only why people disagree, but how those disagreements are often rooted in moral values rather than logic. This was particularly relevant after the US election, where half the country felt deeply concerned about the future, while the other seemed to be filled with optimism and hope. Haidt's work is an essential read for anyone trying to communicate better or even understand why people think so differently. It's particularly relevant in today's polarized world. And now, at number 5 is The Algebra of Wealth by Scott Galloway. Scott Galloway's no-nonsense approach to building wealth is both entertaining and enlightening. He breaks down financial success into simple but critical components: education, relationships, risk, and grit. What I enjoyed most is how Galloway mixes data, practical advice, and sharp wit to deliver important lessons without the fluff. Whether you want to figure out which career path to take or how best to invest your money, this book gives both general principles and specific tips. Ultimately, this book is ideal for anyone looking to take control of their finances and make smarter, long-term decisions. And at number 4 is Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. Matthew Walker explores the science of sleep and why it's essential for our physical and mental health. What really stood out to me was the sheer depth of research showing how sleep impacts everything, from memory to creativity to longevity. It's one of those books that fundamentally changed my habits. I now prioritize sleep like I never did before, but also I'd recommend this to anyone looking to improve their health, productivity, or overall quality of life. This is the only book you'll ever need to understand sleep, and considering it accounts for nearly a third of your life and massively influences the other 2/3, I can't think of many better investments of your time. And at number 3 is Algorithms to Live By Brian Christian and Tom Griffiths. This book takes complex computer science principles and applies them to real-world decisions. Whether it's deciding how long to search for a house or optimizing your to-do list, Christian and Griffiths show how algorithms can simplify life's toughest choices. I loved how accessible and practical this book was, making it easy for non-technical readers to see the value in these concepts. Mainly though, I liked how it gives you a clear and decisive answer for many seemingly subjective questions. One of my personal favourites is how long you should spend looking for the right partner before deciding to stick with the one that you may already have. This problem is also called the secretary problem, and I have also done a dedicated video on this in the past. If you enjoy books that blend science, logic, and daily life, this one's for you. At number 2 is The Coddling of the American Mind by Greg Lukianoff and Jonathan Haidt. This book examines how cultural trends like overprotection and safetyism are impacting the mental resilience of the younger generations. These ideas are extremely relevant for young people today, but equally relevant for their parents. Lukianoff and Haidt argue that avoiding challenges and difficult ideas, in other words, coddling, does more harm than good, leading to increased anxiety and polarization. I found this book incredibly relevant, offering insights not just about younger people, but about resilience and intellectual humility in general. It's a thought-provoking read that's hard to ignore. Haidt also builds upon many of these concepts in the follow-up book, The Anxious Generation, which may even turn up in next year's list. And now, at number 1 is Life 3.0 by Max Tegmark. Max Tegmark explores the future of artificial intelligence and its implications for humanity. With the rapid rate at which AI is growing, it's becoming an increasingly relevant book. From the potential for AI to transform jobs and society to the existential risks it poses, Life 3.0 offers both a technical and philosophical look at what lies ahead. What I loved about this book is how it combines deep scientific knowledge with big picture questions. It explores areas of psychology, physics, computer science, and even elements of sci-fi, and I found the whole thing extremely interesting and engaging. Tegmark doesn't just ask how AI will evolve, but also how we as humans will adapt and shape its future. It's a must-read for anyone interested in technology and the direction of the world. So that's it for the official top 10, and you may have noticed that my top 10 is all non-fiction, so I thought I'd add a bonus round, which is the best fiction book I've read this year, and it's called Flowers for Algernon, and it tells the story of Charlie, a man with a low IQ who undergoes an experimental procedure to increase his intelligence. What made this book so powerful is its emotional depth. I found myself tearing up on at least one occasion, and it's genuinely heartbreaking seeing someone notice the tragic elements of their life that didn't occur to him before. Keyes beautifully explores the themes of intelligence, identity, and human connection. The story is heartwarming and heartbreaking in equal measure, and is one of those books that lingers with you long after you finished it. And that wraps up the list of the best books I've read this year. If you're looking for more book recommendations, then definitely feel free to check out last year's video, which I've done a very similar thing. Whether you're looking for practical advice, a deeper understanding of human nature, or a book to spark some big ideas, I hope these recommendations help you discover something new and inspiring. Let me know in the comments which books stood out to you this year, or if there are any things you think I should read in 2025. As usual, thanks for watching, and if you got something from this video, then I'd really appreciate if you could like or subscribe, or even feel free to leave a comment down below. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.